Let's unmask a tale that is often lauded as a more progressive story, Beauty and the Beast. On the surface, the narrative seems to be about looking beyond superficial appearances to find the inner beauty within. However, when we dig just a little deeper, we uncover a far more disturbing and classic codependent dynamic: the trauma bond. Belle is, for all intents and purposes, a prisoner. She sacrifices her own freedom to save her father and becomes the captive of a volatile, aggressive, and emotionally manipulative creature. Her story is not one of falling in love, but of developing an attachment to her abuser. This dynamic is often referred to as Stockholm syndrome, where hostages develop a psychological alliance with their captors as a survival strategy. Belle's situation fits this pattern with unnerving precision. She is isolated from her previous life, entirely dependent on the beast for her survival, and subjected to his terrifying outbursts of rage. Over time, she begins to see small acts of kindness not as the bare minimum of human decency, but as profound gestures of a changing heart. She starts to empathize with his pain and takes on the responsibility for his emotional well-being, a classic role for the codependent fixer. The entire premise of the story rests on a deeply unhealthy codependent belief that you can and should change a troubled and abusive partner through your unwavering love and patience. The beast's transformation is not his own responsibility. It is entirely contingent on Belle's ability to love him before the last petal falls. This places an immense and unfair burden on Belle, teaching the dangerous lesson that it is a woman's job to heal a man's wounds, even at the cost of her own safety and happiness. This is not healthy love. It is a relationship built on control, emotional blackmail, and conditional affection. The narrative romanticizes this codependent tango, where one person's dysfunction becomes the other's life mission. The beast remains stuck in his pattern of anger and manipulation, unable to fix himself, while Belle pours her energy into managing his emotions and trying to save him. This is the very essence of a codependent relationship, where one partner's identity becomes consumed by the need to rescue the other. It's a story that frames a toxic trauma bond as the ultimate romance, dangerously blurring the lines between love, pity, and emotional entrapment for generations of impressionable viewers. While Belle is seen as an empowered heroine, her agency is largely an illusion. Her defining characteristic is self-sacrifice, driving her into the codependent trap. She trades her freedom for her father, demonstrating that her needs are secondary. This is a classic symptom of codependency, the inability to prioritize one's own well-being. Once inside the castle, her world shrinks until the beast is at its very center. Her primary focus becomes fixing him, taking on the role of his unpaid therapist. She is not building a relationship based on mutual respect. She is engaging in a high-stakes project of rehabilitation. Her own intellectual pursuits are quickly forgotten, replaced by managing her captor's curse. This highlights a core symptom of codependency: difficulty owning one's own reality. She adapts her reality to fit the narrative that he is a victim who needs her help. Ultimately, Belle's story is not one of choice, but of fixation. The narrative rewards her self-abandonment, validating her efforts and sacrifices. This is a profoundly dangerous fantasy.